Hey, guys, welcome to another replay analysis. Oh, baby. We got some Diamond League Zerg versus Terran going on in here. Things are going to get crazy. Okay, we're going to see what the fuck is going on here with Bald Seagull. Super late Overlord. I hate it. Replay's over. I quit. No, you actually supply block. You actually a larva cap there. For a little bit, that's really bad. And you're gonna do it again because of it, I feel like. Oh god. Okay, you didn't quite larva cap. Good. For the second time. Okay. Taking your natural. Wait, what? Okay. You have some problems, Bald Seagull, with your just opener. Straight up. This shit doesn't fly later on, what you just did there. So the two things I would say you have a problem with are, number one is your active spending. Like you're just not doing it enough. Like you built the Overlord like at 140 minerals, and it takes relatively a little while to get to 40 over 100 when you're on 12 workers. Like it's gonna actually take some time for that to happen, like 5 seconds or something. And then you sent a drone down. Just know this, okay? The proper time to send a drone down is when you have 180 out of 300. You should, every Zerg should fucking know this. Because what just happened here is you sent the drone down correctly, but then you fucked yourself by making a 17th drone as you sent it down. If you send your drone down when you're opening up with an expansion, you could go for a 17 hatch or a 16 hatch. Either way is fine. But if you have 180 in the bank and you send the drone off and away to the natural, you'll arrive at 300 and then be able to plant the hatchery immediately. You sent your drone around 180 and then you built another drone when you're about like right there or some shit. So you drop back down to now basically essentially sending your drone off at 130, which is why you're 50 minerals short when you arrive. And then now you're going to sit here again for a while doing nothing. And if you're going to do this, you might as well have just sent a drone out later if you're going to go for a 17 hatch. So super inefficient already. And now you're expanding late on top of that by 30. Your build is ridiculously inefficient right now. And again, if you're like, I always stress on this shit because if you're someone who looks at this and goes, it's not that big of a deal, vibe. It's not that big of a deal. What are you talking about? It's like 30 minerals, dude. I know it took 2 seconds. Shut the fuck up, okay? Learn how to play the game because you're gonna be fucking platinum for life if you don't play proper. It's a pretty big deal. Definitely want to fix that. Because now your whole build is inoptimal. And Bald Seagull didn't say that, by the way. That was a hypothetical. Okay. So, you got your eggs coming up. As long as you don't rip off the mineral line here, I'm okay with this. I like it. I like it. Your gas pool droning into the gas is great. I like it. Good job. Good job. You're maintaining 2 per patch. I love it. I love it. You're recovering some points here with me in this part of the game. Now, okay, you got some problems again, though, with something else. Okay, so your follow-up after your fucked up opener for that natural was fine. You took an Overlord, you saturated your mineral line very well. It's all perfectly stacked. You saturated your gas properly with the fact that you should be now going for a fast third base. This was all wonderful. Super hunky-dory. Okay, but here's the problem with your Overlords. What the fuck is this? What is this guy doing? This guy was told some bad info because this gives you literally no information other than saying you're not being proxied in the middle line of your third base or above your third base right here, above the middle line. That's the only info this thing gives you. What if he's proxying you right there? What if he's proxying you right here? What if he's proxying you like somewhere like in this area? What if he's proxying you under the natural? So the problem that you have right now that is very easily fixable is also, you got to realize too, what if he's proxying you right here? And you might be like, well, Vibe, I scouted that though. But if you really think about it, if your overlord goes like this at the start of the game and goes like, all right, see ya. By the time your overlord gets to like right here, there could very realistically be SCVs that crossed the map to the top left and came down to build right here. And he might do that because he understands the timing of the first overlord will have crossed already, so he could get behind it and now build in the fog of war. It's a possibility. So how do you fix this? Leave your fucking overlord at your natural until about, honestly, like right now, when the hatchery is like 80% or like 90% of the way done. Then you can send it out to go scout somewhere else, because if you're gonna get proxied in any way, shape or form, if your overlord was sitting like right here, for instance, like this would be perfect, I would say, especially against Terran. Against Protoss and Zerg, you could leave it like right there, and then if a probe crosses, you could follow the probe, and if it's a Zerg, you'll see Zerglings coming, and then you're fine. But if it's Terran, you could leave your overlord like right here, okay? And the reason why that's an important spot to understand is because if you leave your overlord right there, you see the entire choke point with vision. So you can't have anything run in your base without you knowing about it. And if he builds a bunker right there, like right in your fucking face, you could always pull drones and have time to react to that before the bunker's done. Because the problem with what's happening is he could make a bunker a long time ago with the fact that you have no vision. So if there was proxied racks, he could have easily been making a bunker for like more than half the build time of a bunker already. And that would be fucking scary for you, because that would mean that when your hatchery's finishing and that it then gives you vision of this area, the bunker would be like almost done. Because the bunker has a 29-second build time. And then if your overlord was like right here, again, if there's Marines and a bunker coming over here, like he throws out a bunker and like 2 Marines show up, you could fly from right there up to this cliff right here, and your overlord will not die. It will not die, because it will get to this cliff before the Marines will kill it, because it'll fly out of airspace. And then you're good to go. The overlord won't die, and you'll scout an early defense against a bunker proxy. So definitely, this makes no sense. This just, you're hoping to God that he proxied like over here or like right here, and he's gonna walk through your vision. That's the only thing this does for you, but it leaves you vulnerable to 2/3 of the locations you can be proxied from, which is not good. All right, what's this overlord doing? Okay. This spot, I don't mind it. It's a Reaper scout. Not that big of a deal. I don't mind it. That's fine. You're all good. I won't critique that. I like how you pulled your drone off the gas. Wait, what? Okay. All right. So, mistake. Another mistake right now. What you're doing is very greedy on everything except your larva. And you can do a couple of the things that you just did, but you need to make your fucking larva like ASAP. So, here's what I'm trying to say. Okay, listen here really fast. You literally just fucked your build again right now. Hard. You right now have 3 larvae sitting there, and you have no money, and you're about to have your 4th one sitting there as well, because you've been sitting on these larvae for a while. It's not been great. So what needs to have happened for you is one of 2 things. You need to cut out one of 2 costs. You have 3 costs in your build all at once right now, and you need to cut. One of them was a little bit earlier, but it's still relevant to right now because you haven't even passed the threshold. But let me explain what they mean. Overlord, Zergling speed, 3rd hatchery. Okay? One of these needs to be cut, and instead put larva in its place. So, if you want to take a 3rd base as fast as you did, I'm all on board for that. I love your 3rd base. This 3rd base is great. I fucking love it. But you made an overlord, and you also made Zergling speed as a priority before you got even to supply block, and before you like ling speed like right as you had the gas to like pretty much to make your ling speed. One of these needs to be cut a bit back if you want to make this work better, because you can't afford your larva again, and larva is by far the most important thing you want to take advantage of with Zerg. If you don't take your larva advantage, this is fucking terrible. This slows you down a lot. Even though you haven't larva blocked yet, you might eventually if this doesn't get used here pretty soon. But even if you haven't even larva blocked, it's still really bad. So here's a way you could fix this. One of the two ways, don't make your overlord at 19. Just make drones. And if you had no overlord at 19, you'd have 100 minerals freed up back in your bank account, and you'd only be at 26 out of 28 instead of 26 out of 36. You could then make your drones up to 28 out of 28, and then make your overlord and have like no larva sitting there. And that would be fine. And then as your overlord spawns, larva will start to spawn again, and then you spend your larva again when your supply opens up. And you could even make another overlord again then, because you're going to get close to supply blocking again. Another way you could do it is still make your overlord at 19, just like you did, but make your larva first before your ling speed. Like, do not start ling speed. Even though you have enough resources for it, it feels weird, right? Don't start it, because you're not doing an aggressive style anyways. You're doing a defensive style that is queen based, and the more drones you have mining minerals faster, the more queens you can make anyways without fucking your larva up. So if your ling speed's delayed by like 10 seconds because of this, or like 12 seconds, you're totally fine. Your queens and your overlords, all your mineral things are going to be hopefully in the right spot at the right time if you position yourself correctly, and you'll be fine. But yeah, you just did everything at once, all these major costs, and you can't afford it. So it fucked your larva. You have to sacrifice something to take a third this fast, and you chose to sacrifice larva. I would recommend you just sacrifice the fucking Zergling speed, and then start it after you spend your larva up to like basically, just do this. Just do everything in the build the way you did it in terms of like the timers of when you did it, okay? But from now on, make Zergling speed at like 30 supply, and you'll be at like 130 gas. Just do that from now on. It'll make it really easy. So instead of giving you options, that's what I would recommend you do, because that'll be the greediest thing you can do, and it's not really going to do anything different to your defensive measures, because most people aren't going to, as long as you know how to position your queens, most people are kind of intimidated about running into a queen. They're not just going to be like, fucking YOLO. Like, there's very few Terrans that are just fucking YOLO with the Hellions. And the fact that you see like a bunker now, even more so. This is a huge, like this right here, that bunker is a big sign that tells you, don't fucking prioritize Zergling speed, prioritize your drones. Because what is he going to be? What is this guy going to be? He's going to be defensive. So why do you need to get such a fast defensive Zergling speed yourself? React to defensive play with greedy play, because it's how, that's like what takes advantage of it. Like if someone's playing defensive, you don't want to play aggressive. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Then they're taking advantage of you. If someone's going to play defensive, you don't want to play defensive. That kind of cancels each other out. If someone plays defensive, play greedy, because they're not going to attack you, and you're going to get away with it. That's like a nice rule there. So if the same thing would be said if like this was a Protoss and he was going for like cannons. Don't fucking get super quick Zergling speed. No point. Just get a fucking faster drone count. Like still making Zerglings is fine though, like you did because of the Reaper. That's totally fine. But just, yeah, delay the ling speed. Makes no sense to rush at this game. Also, you gotta really make sure you're paying attention, right? Because that Reaper went right by your Overlord and you let it kill a drone on top of everything else. That's a very delayed reaction time. And I would say if the drone ever happens like that, where it's like a drone is getting shot by a Reaper and you're not ready to defend it, really try to grab the drone and either make a gas or a spore crawler with it, because that's such a waste to just let it die. Or even just run it away from the Reaper.
Oh, yeah.
Flyred, thank you for the tier 3, man. Much love. Thank you. My God.
Hi, Vabu.
Hi, dude. Thank you for the super support. Okay. Welcome back, dude. I appreciate you, man. Alright, so now keep making drones, ideally. Overlord's being made as well. Good shit. Your queen, though, is super late. So, your third queen should be started. So, you have a couple problems now, again, with your build. Number one, generally speaking, I'm going to give you this one, though, but I don't know if you understood why you did it. What you did was correct with your larva inject. But let me explain again. You should have actually, in general, made a creep tumor first to go to your third base. In general, you should be doing that. But because this guy made a bunker and he's playing defensive, I am totally okay with the fact that you skipped the creep tumor and made a fucking inject. Because greedy play beats defensive play. And injecting over creep tumor is greedy as fuck. Making a creep tumor is defensive because it gives you defensive mobility to protect your base. So that's totally fine. I actually don't mind that you injected because it's going to give you a bit of a surge forward into the game that he can't really punish as easy now. So I want to make sure you understand that though. If there was no bunker here and it was standard play, you fucking need a creep tumor and you need that shit going towards your third, because if you don't creep tumor your third and you start saturating your third really fast, you're going to have no creep to guard your drones. So you need to understand that if this guy wasn't playing defensive, that would be awful to not have creep. Now, secondly, you need to make a queen like right after your queen finishes. Another queen should be started within the first like 5 seconds or less, like immediately if you can. If your mineral saturation was like perfectly done early game, and you like are flawlessly making your drones, no downtime at all, and everything's just bumping perfectly in your build, you can afford a queen right after your first queen's done. Like a third queen after your queen at your natural's done. While maintaining your larva and all that shit. But, yeah, you need to, even if you don't make it right away, you need to make it sometime soon, because this is super long time, no queen here. And what that next queen you want it to be doing is you want your next queen that spawns to do basically. So the way it'll work, if you expand the way you just did this game, where you expand like right as you take a queen, your queen has enough time to do one thing and then go over here. Because what you want to have happen is you want your third base, as soon as it's done, injected right away. Like the second it pops up and it's done, it's already being injected because the queen's standing right there while it's building. So ideally what's supposed to happen is you do one ability with your queen at your natural, you guard your natural for a little bit because of the Reaper, and then you move your queen when your next queen is like halfway done towards the third base, because it leaves you with a small window of time where this base is not being protected by a queen if this guy's Reaper is still roaming around. Okay? So, but then what happens is your next queen spawns that you made, this hatchery finishes, and the queen that ran from your natural is now here, and you triple inject all of your hatcheries at the exact same time. And that is so much fucking larva for you right off the bat. It is so good. It's like a humongous boost again into the mid game. And I would be okay with you not having a creep tumor first and then running over here, and instead injecting and then running over here, so you have no creep at all because he has a bunker. That would make sense. What's up, Atira? What's up? Hope you're doing well. So that would make sense there. But again, if this was not a defensive Terran, you'd want to have a creep tumor and then go there and then triple inject your hatcheries. And then continue to make queens after the 3, making them out of your natural and your third simultaneously, all the way up until you have like 7 queens, or maybe 9. And then, so you're going to have like 4, maybe 6 queens that can roam around and spread more creep. That's super important to do that in that order. And the way you're doing it is you're not making a third queen, and you're also not preparing a queen for your third base. So you're going to have super fucking lacking creep. Vibe, acknowledge me. What's up, Flower Power? Sorry, guys, I can't acknowledge everybody. Because I'll just be saying hi to everyone that says, hey, Vibe, hi, Vibe, hey, Vibe. Okay, door's closed already. So yeah, no third queen. Problem for you. That's a problem. Hi, Zorua. So yeah, you're... Okay, now you're taking gas way too fast, too. Your build's starting to, like, literally fall apart here. Nice zergling surround, randomly. Okay. The Hellion just drove itself into a corner and died. That's nice. You're not injecting your hatcheries at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You also
Much
weren't...
love.
You weren't... Okay. Bald Seagull. This game... The sound of a toilet flushing should be happening right now, because your game just got flushed down the fucking toilet. This game completely fell apart. Flower Power isn't here. Thank you very much for the 4-month resub. Welcome back, dude. Thank you very much, man. This game just fell apart. You larva capped. You're not generating larva. You haven't injected in 2 rounds of inject. You never made a 3rd queen, so you're not even injecting the 3rd base, period. You're taking gas way too early for extra gas. Your economy just literally went to garbage. You are now so far behind where you could be going forward from here. You are now starting queens. You are still not injecting and you're standing up here because the Reaper was in your base a second ago. You have now missed 3 injects. I want to tell you guys something really fast. These 2 queens. So your first queen. Let me explain this really fast, okay? If I were to guess how much larva you've missed out on by larva capping, I would say you've only missed out on probably like 2 larvae so far, maybe 4. We'll be generous and say 2. Your larva capping hasn't been that bad, simply because you haven't been injecting, so it hasn't really been able to happen that much. So larva cap wise, you've missed about 2 larvae, okay? 2 larvae with larva cap. Not that bad. Your 3rd base hasn't larva capped at all yet, so that's fine. So only your main and natural have larva capped. But think about this for a second. Your queens have gone through 100 energy so far this game, because all you've done so far is 1 inject. And it's 25 plus 77, which is 102. So you've gone through 4 rounds of possible injects. Now, you injected 2 times out of the whole game so far, when you should have injected 4 times on your main, 4 times on your natural, and 3 times on your 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, think about how much larva this is. You've injected twice, which is 6 larvae. But you should have injected 4, 4, 3, which is 11 times 3. Because it's 11 injects. 4, 4, 3 is 11. That's how many injects should have been happening this game. Plus times that by 3, because that's how much larva you get per inject, which means you've missed 33 fucking larvae this game. You've made 6 out of 33 potential. Plus you've probably also missed out on about 2 larvae from automated larva cap. So you're down right now about 29 larvae. 33 minus 6 is 27, plus 2 automated larvae. You go back up to
oh, yeah.
Or, yeah. You get the point. Fuck a load of larvae. Sorry, I'm like confusing myself. Does it go up or down? I'm like, what? You get the point, though. It's literally 33 larvae worth of inject. That's just not here. That's really bad for the first 4 minutes of the game. That's super bad. And it's just things like this are going to screw you super hard over time, all the time. Like you're just not using. So let me say it like this too. Let me say it like this as well. Notice how your money is still not that bad though. A big, Flower Power isn't there. Thank you very much for the gifted subs, guys. Can we get a vibe gift in the chat for Flower Power? Oh my god. Thank you very much, dude. Jesus. Thank you for all the gifted subbies. Thank you, thank you. Just keep in mind. There's 2 sides to macro that people always mess up. They don't think about it like this. Number 1 is spending. Everybody thinks about that one. They're like, oh, I spent my money though, Vibe. Like, Vibe, there's no way I could spend 33 larvae. If I had it anyways.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you wouldn't have the last 9 larvae out of that because it would currently be injected right now. So like you would actually have 24. You would have gone through 24 larvae and it's not 33 because the last 9 would be in the inject right now. But basically, spending is something a lot of people understand. Keeping your money low is important. But if you don't keep your money low for a while, and then it's like you have 600 minerals or something, and then you spend it all at once, your generation sucks. You're actually missing the beat heavily on generation because you're just not injecting your bases. So that sucks pretty hard for you. So you're just down where you would want to be. And you're doing it again. Like you have so much money. But you have, to be fair, you have no larvae. So now your money's gonna start getting lopsided because you just don't have the money. All right. I'm glad you're not using that gas, but I wish you just didn't even take that gas. Another thing to understand is you also, right now, I mean, you're also taking more gas again, too, in your main. This is actually, the timing of you taking your gas in your main based off your drone count is actually okay. Your Evo chambers are way too fucking early. Your build is out of, I know what you're doing right now, Bald Seagull. You're doing the build that I talked about recently where I said this is the rogue build. I already know this is the rogue build. Like, I noticed it ever since you pulled that drone off the gas. And you went for a third base. From the very beginning, before you got link speed. But your Evo chambers, way too fucking early as well. Your gases, this gas was okay, but this gas, way too early. You should have paired this gas with this one. So the way it's supposed to go is fully saturate your main, fully saturate your gas. Get your gas, first gas, up to about 50 total mined. Take one drone off of gas. You then get Zergling speed, and then you also get Overlord speed. After. Do you have Overlord speed right now? You do not. You skipped Overlord speed altogether. So now you're rushing your layer, which is going to rush your costs even faster. And now you have no fucking scout to let you know if you're going to be okay or not. With this kind of a build, because this build is really greedy. And the greedier the build, the more scout heavy you probably should be. Because you will die a lot of times if you don't play defensive when you scout something aggressive. But you have no way to scout, so now you're playing blind. And then you don't resaturate this gas right here, honestly, until your natural entire mineral line is fully saturated. Then as you start saturating your third base, then you can put one more drone back on this gas. And then when your third base has like 8, 10, 12 drones on it, a little bit like half or a little bit more than half, you can then take 2 more gases wherever you want. I would recommend, though, taking them probably at your natural. And the reason why I think the natural is the best location is because the natural is an easier base to defend than your third. Your third's going to be more exposed with less creep at this point. So understacking your base here with drones is going to be a little bit more easy to defend initially while your creep is spreading. Ideally, though, neither base should take damage. So that's why I say you could take it at your third too if you really wanted to. But you should not take it in your main because you just made your drones perfectly saturate your main base. Don't disrupt that as much as possible. Let it be. Just let that base be. Don't disrupt this over this, because look at this base. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You're lucky. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. You're lucky. Your drones are smart. There's no 3s in there. But there is a chance, higher chances, that there could be some 3s in your expansions, because you're not allocating as much attention to detail of making sure they stack properly. So make sure you maximize the space as long as possible. Take this gas last. Because then once you have like 60 drones, it isn't as impactful anymore if it happens to be a patch with 3, especially since also this base is going to mine out soon at that point. Around like 6 minutes. You only have like 2 minutes left until patches start mining out. So it's not even that impactful in the game overall. It's like a minor amount of time. But yeah, upgrades, you take a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren when your layer has been started. And then you take your Evo Chambers when you're on 66 to 70 drones, not 51. And you take the Evo Chambers with your 4th base and your tech. Whatever tech building you're going for and your 4th base. So it could be a Spire, it could be a Hydra, whatever the fuck you want to take. You then also take your Evos with that. Way too early on the Evos. If you ever want to take Evos early, there's 2 times to take Evos. Number 1 for standard is when you take your tech and when you have like 70 drones. Number 2 is if you want to take your Evo Chambers when you have like 40 drones, before a layer, before a Roach Warren, and before a Bane Nest, because you're going to open up with 1/1 upgrades before you take a layer, which is a completely different playstyle. It's aggressive. And you're not doing that. You're going for tech, which is the safer option. It's a standard option. So your Evo Chambers are way too fucking early. They're awkwardly timed. This is just going to slow you down, and if you actually utilize them, it's going to slow you down even more. Your money sucks. You don't have enough larvae, and now you can see the problem, right? Now you're like, oh god. Now I've delayed my larvae so much, and now I'm making nothing but drones, and now I don't have enough larvae to spend my money at this point now either. So now you're starting to have a spending problem. At first, it was a generation problem that generated slower, and now it's a spending problem because you just don't have enough to spend it. And now you're using these upgrades super fast. Okay, I'll never do this. Ever, ever, ever. Never, ever. Never do that. Ever. This is a Protoss thing only. If you skip Carapace against Terran, you are fucking nuts. This is okay against mech. But even then, I would recommend you do other things against mech than going double Evo upgrades. Like, go for fucking Swarm Host or something. Go like Swarm Host Hydra with just range weapons. Make your life really easy. But against mech, this would be allowed. If you play bio, if you're fighting bio, and again, you have no idea what he's even doing right now because you have no scout. But if he's going bio and you just don't have Carapace, your army sucks. Bio will murder you as you try to take engagements every fucking time. Hydras are support to Ling Bane. If you go Hydra Ling Bane, what attack do you get? You get melee. Because your army is going to be like 20% Hydra, 80% Ling Bane. You do not want to make any more than like 18, 20 Hydralisks and you're fucking done. So your army realistically is going to be like 40% Hydra because it's double supply. It's like, or like 30% Hydra. And we're talking about 40 supply out of 120. It's like a quarter of that, right? It's like 25% of your army is going to be Hydra, 75% is going to be Ling Bane. Yeah. And now you're getting Carapace late. Yeah, it sucks. You're behind a Carapace upgrade now. It's just terrible. How, like, your army's going to bleed out so fast when you take engagements if you don't have Carapace against Bio. It's so bad. Bio will shred you apart. It'd be like, basically what happens if you don't have Carapace and you're fighting Bio. Imagine trying to extinguish a flame with paper. You're like, oh my god, that guy's got a fucking flamethrower. I know, let's throw balls of paper at it. And then what happens? They just get roasted and they just disappear before they even make contact with the barrel of the flamethrower. Yo,
love you, Vibo.
Foosbon, thank you for the 7-month resub. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. I love you too. So that turn just played kind of sloppy there. He just ran into you and died. That's fine. Overseer. Also, you need Overseers. You're not even killing Widow Mines. Or did you kill Widow Mines? Yeah, you didn't kill Widow Mines. You need a fucking Overseer. You're doing a panic move right now. You don't need to attack right now. Let me tell you something really fast. You just turn this game into an all-in. Kind of. In this particular moment of the game. And here's why. Counterattacks make sense when your opponent loses an army. Sure. However, if you're not at optimal drone count, counterattacks put pressure on you to get damage done. Otherwise, if your counterattack gets shut down, just like his initial attack got shut down, you stall yourself out and you fucking set the game essentially. So this now needs to do damage for it to be effective. You forced it now to happen. Like if you do no damage here, if you go 3 depots and you run into Widow Mine or something, this is going to be terrible for you because you just lose an advantage. You have an advantage and you have the potential to increase it if you do damage or to throw it away if you don't do damage. Just know it's still bad if you don't do damage regardless. Like, you're making army non-stop when you have map control and you're not fully saturated. You could be droning your 4th base and taking a 5th base right now, and there's nothing Terran could do about it. And then you could be making army all game, and then it's totally fine all the time to counterattack every attack he does every single time because your economy is perfect. But you're under economy. You're actually like going to be under his mining right now because he has mules. You're actually at a lesser amount than he is right now. So this has to do damage right now, otherwise you are fucked. And what's going to happen? It's better do something huge here with these 3 Banes, because otherwise this is terrible. You killed a few SCVs. You killed like 4 SCVs or something right there, or 5 SCVs. So far 9 have died, but I don't feel like you just killed 9 there. But now look at this, right? You're making drones now. So you've slowed yourself down during this. Also, how's your injects going? You don't even have a queen in the main. Your injects look really bad. Some of your queens have so much energy. Yeah. I mean, your money is really high. Okay, so another thing you need to be doing as well, you need to be taking like when you take this base, when you go build that base, build 4th base, build a macro hatch with it. Build 2. Honestly, for you, build 2 of them. I'm not even kidding. When you're on like 70 drones, build a hatchery here and build 2 more in your main base. And then when they're up, take queens off of your creep spread and go inject them. Be like, all right, 2 more queens go to the main base for my 2 extra hatcheries. So I have 3 queens injecting 3 hatches in the main, 1 in the natural, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. So you're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 hatcheries being injected. With 6 queens. 6 hatch, 6 queen, and then your excess of 1 or 2 or 3 queens, whatever you have, can just maintain creep spread. Also, your creep is like really bad. You need to spread your creep faster. You're like never actively spreading tumors. I think this whole game you've probably spread about 5 tumors worth of time, and a creep tumor spread takes about 22 seconds. And if we talk about what 5 times 22 is, that's definitely not 9 minutes. So you gotta speed up that creep spread. And now you're getting mowed down by Bio again, right? Just like he's dragging you in, and you're making more Ling Bane or more Ling Hydra, and you're still under saturation. Get to fucking like 85 drones. Get there ASAP. Do not play these low eco styles, because even though you did damage here, that's great. You're actually not capitalizing on as much of an advantage as you could have, though, because you could have almost another entire mineral line saturated. Almost. Imagine if you had like 12 or 13 more drones. 16 is a full mineral line, right? You could have like another really well saturated mineral line just in here for you automatically. If you just made drones. And you're not spreading creep at all while you're attacking. You are playing this like the biggest all-inner. You have no mechanics. So you definitely want to make sure that you macro some more. Take a second and fucking fix your shit. Fix your money. Fix your larva. You have no queen in the main still. Fix your things like upgrades. Fix your gas. Fix your mineral line. Do macro things. Fix your side of the game. The more creep you have, like creep is huge with this build too. Creep is the most. I want you to know something too. Any Zerg out there that doesn't understand how important creep is against Terran, I want you to know that you will never beat a Terran player once you get to like Masters Plus if your creep is bad. You just won't win anymore. You'll win in Diamond. You might also beat some Terrans in Masters. But if you get to like upper Masters, like we're talking like 5k MMR around there, you will not win games anymore if your creep is like this. You just won't. Because creep is so fucking important. Because the way the game should be played at higher levels is you literally never take a fight with Terran unless it's on creep. If you ever take a fight with Terran when they're off creep, you will lose every single time. Which is why upper levels of Zerg versus Terran is all about Zerg players trying to spread the creep and Terran players trying to reduce the creep, like kill it. If you just go willy-nilly and take fights off creep with Terran's army, you're going to lose every single game at higher level. Every fucking time. So respect that. Get better at creep spread now. That way you don't suck at it later on and it then becomes something that makes you lose games. It's something that's so important. Like, what's happening right now, Bald Seagull, is you're getting yourself caught in this momentum swing of make army, attack, make army, attack, make army, attack, make army, attack. Okay, quick round of injects. Okay, make army, attack, make army, attack, make army, attack, make army, attack. And that's really, 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 really wrong. What should be happening is make army, inject, inject, creep, 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 check upgrades, check mineral lines, make army, inject, 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 creep, 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 check upgrades, check tech, expand, inject, creep, make army. Like, it should be so much more mechanics mixed in there. And instead of attacking the Terran like this, what if instead you had your army defensive on creep, and then you sent out like maybe just like 20 Zerglings, just 20 Zerglings, like right here. And then you make like 6 of them into Banelings. And the Terran attacks you on your creep, you take a fight on creep, and then you send like your little 20 ling, like 16 lings or 12 lings or whatever with some Banes into a mineral line as the fight starts. And you just literally go, okay, you guys go there. Like right click in the middle of the mineral line. And then take your main army and go, and then just attack over him on your creep, wherever the fuck he attacks you from. And then if you win that fight really hard, then counterattack. Like, if you played that way, you'd have so much more success. Because this game is 20 fucking 2 minutes, and what I feel like is going to happen is you're not going to do any mechanics. You're going to eventually bleed yourself out of money, and the Terran player is going to set up a new expansion, and he's going to start actually fortifying himself on the map, and he's going to kill your newest expansions, which you then at that point really need, because you played so fucking wasteful up to that point in the game, and you mined out your existing bases, and you didn't expand fast enough, so now when you finally do take new bases, he just kills them and you lose. That's what I feel like is going to happen to you because of the... You're giving yourself like this all-in mentality when you don't have to. And you still haven't even dealt with these Widow Mines. They've been there the entire game, just bleeding units out. Like 8 kills, 2 kills, 7 kills, 5 kills. Some of these are fucking Hydras and shit. Like right here, you kill a planetary, and you lost your entire army. And now what are you doing in production? You're making another army, right? Terran is actually beating you in supply now. Or he was for a second. You're over, like, you haven't spread creep once since like a minute and a half ago since we last talked about this. And let's check your main. Does he even have a queen? It does. Okay. You got some queens over there injecting that hatch. You got a lot of queued up injects going on. How's the natural going? 200. Fucking doing nothing. How's your third base going? 200. Doing nothing. This base doesn't even have a queen. This base doesn't even have a queen. You don't have to have a queen at every base. You just want to have... You're doing a style that's heavy Zergling. You need to have more than like 3 hatcheries being injected. You need to have like 5 or 6 hatcheries being injected for Ling styles to work properly. It's too much larva you need. And you're like single file uniting into his base. You are so aggressive, it's crazy. You gotta chill the fuck out. Like, things are falling apart for you before they're falling apart. You're playing the game at a pace that you don't need to be. And here we go again with the Widow Mines, right? Another problem that could have been dealt with a long time ago that just never gets dealt with. Make a fucking overseer. Thank you. And you see, like, right now, here's exactly what we're talking about. Look at this. So you finally stopped attacking for a moment. You just stopped attacking. Like, as soon as you stopped attacking, you really went hard on your macro. You droned up to 94. That's a lot. I'm not going to say it's wrong. 94 definitely can get some shit done if you have enough economy open to, like, mine with it. But right now, you're oversaturated in your newest base. You are undersaturated in this base. You are oversaturated in this base. You are oversaturated in this base. And you are oversaturated in this base. And you have... what the fuck are all you... Where... Okay, so, yeah. I mean... Your economy right now could be perfect, pretty much, if you just fixed the bases that are over and put them in the base that's under. It's actually 332 over. So 332 is 8. So you could actually have a perfect economy right now. But the problem as well, though, is as soon as more patches start mining out, which they are, you need another base to be able to send drones to, right? Like, immediately. And you also never fix this gas either the entire game. Make sure you fix that when you're setting when your natural gets fully saturated. Now, I don't mind if you attack now. Like at these points in the game with your army, and if the Terran's defensive. But here's a cool trick. When you attack a Terran who's defensive, don't fucking A-move one location. Try your best to just be like, literally just do this. Look at your control groups. You have none, okay? So here's a cool thing you could do. Select all army, control 1. Green box, some of your Ling Bane, alt 2. And then go like this. 2, right click right there. 1, A-move right there. If you just take fights one fight at a time, one base at a time, you're not using your advantage of what the style should be at all. Which is... You also have way too many fucking Hydras, dude. You're playing this style also really wrong. Because, like I said before, 18 Hydras is, like, ideal. 20 is okay. 20 is getting a bit high. 20 is still really good, okay? 20 is fine. 20 is good. I'm not going to say it's too high. 20 is good. Anything above 20, though, getting a bit fucking high. And anything below, like, 16 is getting a bit low. Like, a little too low, make some more. If you can make somewhere around, like, 18 to 20 Hydras, you're fucking great. And here's why. It's just a concave that goes in behind your Ling Bane that supports your Ling Bane. It's not the primary focus of your army. You have almost 30 Hydras right now. That's a fucking lot of your army. That's like 50% of your army right now is Hydras. This is a little too much. Because what's going to happen is not all of your Hydras are going to engage at the same time. A lot of them are going to be in a concave, and a lot of them are going to be behind the concave going, we're running around in circles until Hydras in the front die. And Hydras actually suck ass at primary damage when it's all you really have. They also, the more Hydras you have too, the more it's going to make a bottleneck for your Ling Bane to engage like shit if you don't walk in properly. So the more Ling Bane you have, the more you can crash over the Terran and literally like have like a tsunami that just floods his ass. And then Hydras can pick things off in the back, like a command center, a medevac, a tank, whatever, while your Ling Bane just wash over the bio. But Hydras versus bio don't have a good time. Bio with medevac versus Hydra dies pretty easily. So you're actually overcommitting to Hydras way too hard here, and you're going to give Terran an opportunity to fuck you up. And the less Ling Bane you have, the easier it is for Terran to mitigate you as you try to wash over him. It's all about swarming him to the point to where it's not enough Terran, and he just gets like collapsed on and shit dies. But the less supply you have invested into doing that for yourself, the less chance it's going to happen, and the easier it is for Terran to kite you, bleed you out, and then counter push your Hydras. So you're overdoing it on Hydras, and you're underdoing it on Ling Bane. Not to mention, you also have 90 fucking drones, so your Ling Bane supply is actually really tiny. Like, look how many Lings you have. You have 14 Lings in this fight. You should have like fucking 60 or like 80 Lings in this fight. And then like also like 40 Banes. Your Bane count is good. Your Ling count should be like 5 times what it is, or like 6 times what it is right now. You see what I'm saying though? Like, look at your Hydras. Your army is just bottlenecking so fucking hard here because you have so many Hydras and you're just letting them block everything. It's like Zerg force fields for Terran. And your army is like mostly dead now before you even start making contact with the Banes. Like, your Hydras are, you just lost 20, or sorry, you lost about 10 Hydras. You lost pretty much all your Lings. And your Banelings are now starting to make contact here. Like, as the fight's starting, you haven't even really killed anything of Terran, honestly, up to this point. And then now all your Banes are dead. All your Hydras are dead because the bio shows up, right? All your Hydras are dead. All your Banes are dead. And the Terran still is rocking a bunch of shit here. You barely killed anything there. You killed a couple tanks and like a Liberator. And now here comes the counter shove, where all your Hydras will just die that are left over if there even were any. And what are you doing as a remax? You're making Hydras again. You're back up to 15 Hydras and you have another 9 in production. Now you're at 20 and you have 5 more in production. Like, you're making way too many Hydras. This is not a Hydra style. This is a Ling Bane style with Hydra support. And you're stop 3-3 melee carapace 3-3 all the way, and then level 0 range weapons. Then you can start getting range weapons. Hydras do not fucking need weapon upgrades in this army. They're support for Ling Bane. Like, they're supposed to be fighting if you're already winning the fight. Terran's 3-3, Zerg's 1-1-1. Exactly. No, like it's this is what I would. Okay, we already kind of talked about this as well, where it was like there was no macro focus at all for like a while you just kind of all in the Terran. And the fact that you have 2 Evos doing 3 upgrades of you're prioritizing range weapons every time too is really bad. Because a Marine hits every 0.4 of a fucking second. It hits 0.4 of a second. So it hits almost a little bit like 2.5 times a second. And it does 9 fucking damage every time. So Marine's doing essentially like 22.5 damage a second. And you want to know what's crazy about that? That's like the fucking half, like a little bit more than half the health of a Zergling. So if you have 2 Marines, Stimpact, a Zergling dies before it even makes contact. But now, instead of doing 9-9, they're doing 8-8. So it's actually doing 8, 16, 20 damage every second. Because it's doing 2.5 times, 2.5 damages, 2.5 attacks a second. 0.4, 0.4, 0.4, which is 1, 2.5, like half of 1. I hope I'm not, I feel like I'm confusing people. This math is not that hard, but I feel like the way I'm saying it might be confusing. It's just a lot of fucking damage, and your Lings will just die as they try to engage. Okay? You need fucking armor in this scenario, because here's the difference. Without armor upgrades, Marines can do 22.5 damage a second. With armor upgrades, Marines can do 15 damage a second. So that's a humongous difference. If we talk about like the percent difference there, that is a humongous fucking difference of damage. 22.5 compared to 13. Or, 15. 15 versus 22.5. That's a lot of fucking difference there. That's literally like 50% damage increase for Terran. Because 50% of 15 is 7.5. That's a fuckload. And yet, if you have like 70 Marines shooting like this, yeah, your army's gonna get destroyed as you try to take engagements. And then what is Terran afraid of? They're not afraid of fucking unupgraded Zerglings then in small numbers running at them. They're not afraid of weak upgraded Hydras that concave against them. Even if your Hydras were 3-3, you would still be at a disadvantage. Hydras don't do shit against Marine concaves when there's medevacs and tanks backing them up. Hydras are terrible in that scenario. Marines are smaller, they stack harder, they do more damage. Hydras just bleed out and die. And Hydras are more expensive too. So, there's one thing Terran is afraid of, and it's Banelings. And if you have enough Lings and enough Banes to swell over the Terran, Bio dies, and then Hydras engage and clean up the rest. With the remainder of your Ling Bane. Things like that. You don't even need Lurkers. I mean, Lurkers are not bad, but you don't even need them with a Ling Hydra Bane style. You just need to understand what the fucking... Ling Hydra Bane is not Hydra, 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 Hydra. A little bit of Ling Bane. It's Ling Bane, Ling Bane, Ling Bane, Ling Bane. A little bit of Hydra. That's what it is. It's Ling Bane focused. It's not fucking Hydra focused. It's Hydra is support to your Ling Bane. That's what it is.
Oh,
it's not the other way around.
Vibu Heart.
Yo, thank you, Nerdface, for the 5. And now you're dead because, like we said before, now your economy is really garbage because you're losing expansions, and you don't have enough mineral lines to really like properly saturate everything anymore. Like, it's just not going well anymore. And also, thank God you have top left in his territory of the map, right? Because that is his side of the map right now. And like, here's another thing too. Remember that creep? You have not spread any fucking creep really in like the last 6 minutes of this game. Gotta spread that creep. At this point, I'm gonna keep repeating myself though, because you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. Like, once again, you have 31 Hydras, 3 Lings and 6 Banes. You're going like mass Hydras versus Bio. Now, mass Hydras is good in beta GM, bronze to plat. But if you're Diamond League, which you are, this is not how you play Ling Bane Hydra. And how you do play it is, we already kind of talked about it earlier, right? So I won't beat you over the head with it and tell you all over again the same exact thing I said before. I like the creep spread. Do it more. Watch that. Watch this though. Let's. I hope this guy takes a concave and you take a concave against him. Watch the supply in the top middle of the screen. You guys are both taking a fight when you're like maxed out, right? Okay, well, he's kind of backing up a little bit. He didn't have the biggest army. Like, the fact that he's maxed out, that definitely wasn't his entire army, for sure. And your army right now is, again, like, all fucking... And you're making Sorgos now? I don't know if that's intentional. But it's really bad against Bio. Only mech would you ever do that. And this guy's clearly not going mech. Like right now you should be fixing bottom right, spreading your creep again. You could still win this game if you just like expanded some more, fixed your upgrades, got Hive. The second one of your expansions die, the game's over. And now he's killing this expansion, right? So now you're going to lose your money. Okay, you defended it. This time you had a little bit more Lings to engage with that. Here's the problem with this one. You had a little bit more Lings to engage this time, which was nice, but it was at the cost of drone supply. You're back down in the 60s with your drones again, which is low. But now you have 41 Hydras. And you had like maybe like 45 Lings a second ago. And 20 Banes. You, again, have a Hydra focus with a Ling Bane minority. And what's happening is your Lings are engaging the fight because they're the fastest unit in your army, so they actually get in the front early. But they're dying for no reason. You know why these units are supposed to engage and what they're supposed to die for? They're supposed to die while Banes make distance and get on the bio. Like the Lings are basically like running in and jumping on the bullets so that Banes don't die. And in the process of doing that as well, they're faster than bio. And if your swell is big enough, you can get around the bio, hold it in place while your Banes smash into them in the hallway of Lings that are holding them, and all the bio dies. But what's happening for you here is you don't have enough of either of those. Your Lings are running faster than your Hydras, so they run in and die. Your Banes are getting caught up behind your Hydras, so your Hydras are going to concave when your Banelings are going to be like, excuse me, excuse me. So your Banes are going to do literally nothing this whole fight until your Hydras are dead. Lings die right off the bat, so they're not even covering the Banes at all and setting up attacks for the Banes. And then, so it's really just like, you're going to have a Hydra concave versus like a bio concave with tank, with medevac. Your Hydras are going to die out to a point where then it creates these gaps in your Hydras, where then Banelings can go, oh, we have dead Hydras we can roll over now. But there's not enough cover for them, so they're going to roll in and die and do nothing. As we're probably about to see here. Also, okay, I don't know. You're actually going to win this fight. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to win this fight. But it's because, where the fuck is this guy's army? This guy has like 9 Marines and like 8 Marauders. Like, he's got all this army like scattered over here. He's got fucking army in bunker. He's got, these units are being produced, don't matter. Like, he's just, yeah. This guy is scattered all over the fucking place. So, this Terran player, I don't really like it, personally. His army's in SCVs. He only has 72, it's not that bad. It's actually good. Like, the problem for him, though, is that he just has way too much, like, this is so much fucking army here that is just sitting there. Like, dude, this is like half his fucking army. Right there. That's so much. If you include all these stray Widow Mines and the bunker supply, that's like more this army than this for Terran. Like, the majority of his army is actually at his base. This dude shouldn't be going for tank pushes. Like we're not coaching the Terran right now, but it doesn't make any fucking sense to go for tank pushes if you're going to push with the minority of your army. It makes sense to drop and then evacuate and kill expansions, not fucking front push middle of the map. This guy has no idea how to play Terran. This is an awful push. This is him basically throwing the game. But again, this is Diamond, so it's fine. Like, everyone doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, you have too many. Again, same thing as always. You have way too many Hydras. Like, look at that. That was a perfect example right there. That was a perfect example. Look at this shit. There's a group of bio backed up by a couple tanks, and you're engaging with pure Hydra. Look at the bio and look at the Hydras in this fight. Just watch it. But watch it on a really slow speed. A couple of the Marines are dying, but a lot of the Hydras just died. You just lost like half your Hydras right there in that fight to kill like 4 Marines. And it's still going, right? You ended up killing a command center, which is nice, but at the cost of all your Hydras dying now, because these Hydras are never going to win this fight. And now you're also out of money, and you can't rebuild the army that just died. And this is how you've been playing the game all game. You're playing super wasteful. And now when your new expansion, and you're like never spreading creep, and you're never relocating to bottom right, you're never fixing your economy. So now that your new bases are dying again, you are mining out like crazy. And you're also just making mass Hydras because you're playing this like, again, an all-in. You play way too much like it's an all-in. Way too many Hydras, way too all-in. Fucking fix your economy and then set up proper composition and you'll have such a better chance. Also get upgrades to 3-3 at some point. It's so important. You should be 3-3 by like 14-15 minutes, like at the latest. You should be 3-3 honestly by like 13-14 minutes realistically, if you're on top of it.
The hive cluster is under attack.
Yeah. It's the same story again, right? You have your army is 20 Hydras, 7 Banes, and 3 Lings. This is a massive Hydra focus again. And it just isn't what you want. It's this guy. I feel like this is where people could be confused and games seem misleading too. Where you're like, well, I just won the fight though, vibe. But this guy never actually has an army grouped up ever. And if this guy realized you were going mass Hydras, if he ever grouped up his army, he could fucking kill you. But he always spreads himself out. And if that, or like for instance, this army right here, if that was with this, he would have ran you over and not lost all of his tanks. But instead, he's sending an entire fucking army with no medevacs into your fucking base. This guy is fucking crazy. But yeah, you're dead now though, because you have no money. So you're dead either way. So I hope this overall makes sense though. Your early game could definitely be a bit better, Bald Seagull, but your late game definitely is not correct, and it's for the reasons we talked about. And your biggest weakness, I would say, there's a lot of things about this that I talked about that are really easy to fix, okay? Really easy to fix. But if you want my honest opinion, what you really need to work on, other than saying make less Hydras, make more Ling Bane, that's super easy to do. Fucking get better at your mechanics. This shit will not fly, dude, at the higher you go. Your creep spread is your weakest aspect of your entire gameplay, followed by your injects. Your injects are also not great. Fix that. So be less aggressive, be more macro oriented, and then be more aggressive when you actually have proper economy. 85 drones. Good to go. Do not go aggressive at 67. Even if you win a fight. You know what happens if you win a fight at 67 drones? Drone window, go to 85, and then your army that you have that won the fight is still there that can defend you again if he attacks you while you're making drones. Which he won't probably anyways, because it'll be a really tiny army. And then once you have like 85 drones, then go fucking slam it on hard on aggression, but mix it with your mechanics. Don't just only attack and that's all you're going to do for like 8 minutes straight. Macro, like, it's not just making drones. It's also spreading your creep, injecting your bases, expanding, rotating drones around, upgrading, teching, all these things. You got to do all of it because your army just got real garbage real fast with no maintenance. Also, yeah, the mass Hydras was really bad. But I hope it made sense. I hope it made sense. Anyone else out there who's trying to do a Ling Bane Hydra style, I hope this helps you learn how to play it out better. Bald Seagull, I fucking love you, man. Thank you for redeeming it. Also, shout out to you for putting yourself under the microscope. I know it's sometimes challenging to be ripped apart by me and when I'm yelling at you for a while, and you're like, vibe. God damn, dude. Relax. No, but yo, Bald Seagull, much love. Thank you. And guys, if you enjoyed this, hopefully this helps you get better overall. Yourself, if you're trying to play these kinds of styles. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, whatever it might be. Until then, much love. Take it easy. I'll see you next time. Peace, guys.